So tell me about your role at Mollymook Golf Club.
I'm the CEO at Mollywood Golf Club. I've been there for 13 years now. I oversee 140 employees. On top of that, we have quite a few contracted employees with greenkeepers and with cleaners. We do around $21 million a year in turnover between four departments. Each department has its own team leader, and they all report directly to myself. I report directly to a board of seven directors.
And how long have you been in the club industry besides Mollymook Golf Club?
First entered the club industry in 1988. So prior to Mollymook, I was in Canberra Tradesmen's Union Club as a venue manager, and prior to that I was with the Canberra Raiders Leagues Club, 14 years. Prior to that I was the secretary manager of a small bowling club in Kangaroo Valley. Prior to that I worked in a range of small hospitality venues.
And what got you into this industry? Did you go to university?
Not initially. I was going to go to university and study a science, and I discovered very early on in life that most industries and businesses are very susceptible to things that you can't control, such as economics, government legislation, supply and demand. And I found with the club industry that it was very consistent to the point where you could almost budget what you were going to earn in revenue for this week, next year.
What does a typical work week like for you?
Well, for myself, I work back of house. It's a Monday to Friday role for me. Usually start around 6 a.m, 3 or 4 mornings a week, finish up around 5 or 6 o'clock. My main role is working directly with the board, working with governance, working with policy, working with strategic management. I lead a team of very, very qualified hospitality managers, and my main role is to provide those managers with the resources and the time and the right people to do their job well and effectively. I'm the buffer between board of directors and management, and I ensure that directors govern and don't manage. And so I maintain that buffer between the management team and the board of directors.
Is this a job that you do on your own, or do you have other management underneath you that are in similar roles?
No, I'm the CEO. I'm on my own. It can be very lonely in the boardroom. However, I have a very strong team of managers underneath that are very skilled in their individual department. Golf manager, he's a qualified golf professional, and he holds a Bachelor of Business in Golf Management, and he has 30 years experience in sports administration and specifically golf. I have an operations manager who has a Bachelor of Business in Club Management. That's the degree I hold myself as well, and his specialty is gaming, food and beverage. And I have an assistant manager whose primary role is compliance and corporate governance.
As a creative professional, what does your advertising and marketing process look like? From the initial thought to the execution. For example, do you use an in-house marketing team or have contractors that do that for you?
It's a combination of all of the above, depending on what the circumstances are and what our goal is. Sometimes we'll work in-house, but generally speaking, we'll bring in professional consultants, particularly when it comes to branding, marketing. Advertising, we generally would do that in-house. We have a full team of employees who look after our advertising. But branding and marketing, we would specifically go to the right consultant for that. And I'll give you a good example. So at the moment, we're about to open up a new venue, a food and beverage venue, that will be partly a kiosk that opens directly onto a beach and partly a restaurant, bar venue, which will open 3 or 4 nights a week and will provide live entertainment in the afternoons. And so this particular product will sit in the same building as our licensed club. However, the market is completely different. It's a 30 to 50-year-old target market as opposed to the licensed club, which is a 50 to 70-year-old target market. So it's a specific product that we need to ensure hits the right market. We need to make sure our product is right. We need to make sure our branding is right. Our branding in particular, we need to make sure that our delivery systems for food, beverage are correct, our menus, our cocktail lists. Most importantly, we need the right staff that are the right age group for that particular venue. So that the process would start whereby we would look at the target market for that particular idea. We'll look at our demographics, we'll look at our population growth. We'll look at what type of product there's a demand for, and we see this as a particular product will fill a void in the local community. We would then develop the delivery system, which is the style of food, the structure of the organisation, the structure of the staff, the structure of the kitchen. We would then hand that over to a company to brand. So the branding is critical. The branding is where people receive their first impression of what that product will look like. So we would use a company based in Wollongong. They would provide us with 3 or 4. We would brief them on the demographics, we'd brief them on the product, we'd brief them on the financial goals and the food delivery system and the structure of the organisation. They would come back with 3 or 4 options for us to work through. We would choose the right fit for our business, and then that organisation would come back with the graphic contents and then they'll put together a plan, what we call a rollout plan, and then a long-term marketing strategy. And then that will be broken down into the various advertising campaigns and social media campaigns to drive that product and initially launch it and then sustain the interest in that bar area that we're developing.
Is there a previous campaign or anything that the golf club has used that you think is a prime example of success that has kind of driven this one?
The food and beverage product that we're releasing later this year is not something that we're new to. We've trialled this product now for 3 or 4 years as a pop-up restaurant over the summer period. We understand the needs of the market, and we understand the shortfalls and the shortcomings of the food delivery system and where we need to plug that gap in terms of employees, product. Last summer, we delivered a product called the Bolter Bar. The venue operated for 6 weeks. It was booked out lunch and dinner for that entire 6 weeks. We teamed up with a company called Bolter Brewery. They're in the northern suburbs of Sydney. They provided all the merchandise, all the artwork, all the branding on the proviso that we offered the Bolter beer products, and it was very successful. It was successful to the fact where the community and our customers thought that the product was unrelated to the club. It was in the same building, but they thought a different organisation actually operating that product. That's how good the branding was. It worked well for us. So we know what the market wants. We know what the market is. It's now a matter of finding that Bolter Bar product that we've been operating and developing into a service that will work over a 12-month period. In relation to marketing and branding the Bolter Bar, we have a rollout, what we call a rollout pattern. So we have a range of advertising and marketing strategies for every campaign that we do. We do several campaigns every year. So we use social media, we use banners, we use some print media, lots of flyers, lots of banners inside the club. We use some direct mail, but generally speaking, social media will do most of the work. We do direct EDMs, emails, and text messages. The internal signage is also quite critical in the lead up. We'll generally roll that out in the 4 to 6 week period before the event itself.
It also sounds like collaboration has played a massive part in this, like you said, with the Bolter Bar and then your teams. How does collaboration inspire your creativity with these projects that you're putting forward?
Collaboration brings diversity. So lots of minds all thinking in the same direction will bring lots of different ideas. And over a period of months, those ideas come together. So we'll have the technical teams, the kitchen operations, the analysts that will analyse the value and the viability of the services and products that we offer. Then that will move into the creative team, who will turn that into an appealing product, move that onto the operational team, who will then take that product and roll it out and make it work. So it is a long-winded process. It usually takes, I would suggest 6 months from start to finish. With executing.
Yeah, wow, it does sound like a lot of work. Earlier today, I sent you my creative brief for this subject that I'm doing, BCM 303. If you were to present that to your team at Mollymook Golf Club, how would you go about that, executing those assessments, especially assessments 3 and 4?
We have a weekly leadership team meeting, and the way that's structured is that if you have an idea or you have a strategy that you like discussed or laid on the table for debate, the item is placed on the agenda. The germ of the idea is debated, discussed. We usually sit on it for a week or two, and then we'll come back a couple of weeks later. We'll reassess it, and if the group collectively feels that it's worth pursuing, then we'll take it forward and we'll send it off to the right people to get the project rolling.
Perfect. It sounds like it's really a team-based thing. I'm going to explain a little bit to you about what our assignment 3 and 4 is, and I would like to get your advice and some feedback on what you think my team and I should do. So our assignment is, we're living on the verge of immense challenges and opportunities that will change the way we live. Create an expo experience that engages participants in a fact-based dreaming of their possible future. So as the younger generation, me and my team have discussed that we are very scared of the future when it comes to climate crisis, all this environmental sustainability stuff, because it's just not a priority at the moment. We have decided that our expo experience is going to be created as a video game, as that will engage our younger generation. Our video game is going to be based on the idea, at the moment, society has this normal. Let me use COVID as an example. During COVID, our sustainability actually increased. It became very good. There was no flight. People were staying in homes, so there was none of this carbon emissions. So we went from here up to here with our sustainability, and since COVID, we've dropped again. Our goal is, instead of coming back to here, we want to create a new normal and keep it on the up. That's what we're going to do in our video game idea. In the video game, instead of defeating the monster, we're going to befriend it, make it our friend, and use it to go forward. What would be your advice to my group and I moving forward with our assignment?
Well, I think what you're suggesting is an education process.
Yes, definitely.
So what you're saying is that you would like to find a way of encouraging people, educating people to use what they need, but no more. Certainly not to excess. I would be looking at putting together an effective educational media strategy, which had the right message in there, and they'll roll that out over a 6 to 12-month period, starting small with teaser style messages through to the point where people understand exactly what that message is. I suggest the teaser style process because what that does, it keeps people attention a bit of a longer period. They want to know the answer, but they haven't got all the answer. It ensures they listen the second time around and then the third time around. Eventually, they'll hear the whole message. I would look at providing a catchphrase, some sort of very short message that is not only verbal, a physical message that you can see, a symbol that people associate with your message. And that message will be something along the lines of, use what you need, don't use what you don't need.
Perfect. That sounds like great advice, and I'm definitely going to pass that on to my team. About all the questions I have for you, though, thank you for your time. I really appreciate it.